Hi, I here. This is a reading for the sign of Aries. We're going to pull two cards from the Slavic Legends Tarot deck, and that's going to represent the energy that is currently surrounding you. What we see on the bottom of that deck is going to represent your general energy. We're then going to pull 9 cards from the Surrealist Tarot deck and turn those over little by little to see what story or message unfolds. What we see on the bottom of that deck is going to represent the general theme of this reading. And once we get an idea of what messages need to come through, we're going to pull one card from the shadow deck to see what is in your subconscious, and what we see on the bottom of that deck is going to represent what you don't see coming. So let's just see what happens. Okay, so today we are tapping into the energy of the sign of Aries. So if that is your sun, your moon, or your rising sign, or however you choose to identify today with the energy of the sign of Aries, you can use that as a way to interpret the messages that are coming through. And as always, if the details of these messages do not fit, do not try to force them. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. And if none of the message is really fitting for you, that's okay. You can always check your other placements, or you can just stick around to see what is going on in the world of other Aries. So what messages can we receive today? What things should we think about? What can we meditate upon? Are there any things we need to be made aware of? Any warnings that need to come through? Things we should avoid? Anything we can possibly look forward to? What kind of messages can we receive today for those who are trying to channel the energy of the sign of Aries? So let us see what we can get. Let's do one more good shuffle. All right, and then we're going to pull 2 cards from this deck here. Okay, so let's see what we get. 1, 2, and your general energy is the Emperor. That is your card, Aries. That is the Aries card. So you are definitely in your element. You are channeling that passion that Aries are known for. Being commanding, knowing what you want to put into the world, and how you want the world to react to whatever it is that you are putting out there. Really standing strong in who you are, and really identifying with what it is that makes you feel empowered. That's the energy of the Emperor here. Commanding, confident, and again, this is the Aries card, so you are in Aries mode right now. So let us see what is surrounding you. We have the 4 of Coins, and we have Judgment. So, interesting. So, whatever has put you in this mode of ready to command whatever life is throwing at you, what is surrounding you in this moment is 4 of Coins energy is foundation. This is your wealth, your stability in relation to your wealth. Perhaps you are trying to get a good grip on whatever your material foundation is, whether this is job security, financial security, but really trying to get some kind of control over what is yours. And perhaps that's what you are channeling this Emperor energy to do, is to protect what it is you need to survive. Because here on the other side we have the Judgment card, which is a card of some new era coming to an end or beginning, some transition from one period to the next. So I feel like some major change is happening around you, and while this change is occurring, you are channeling this energy of taking charge of what is yours and what is a part of your foundation in the world that you are living. So in whatever transition you're going through, you're really trying to stand strong and firm in who you are and what you need to have in your control over. It feels like there's all these sort of things happening around you that you can't control, things that are inevitably changing, and you are in this mode of trying to control as much of those things as you can, and really, being empowered as much as you can through this period of flux that's occurring. So let's get a little bit more context for what this might mean. So we're going to pull 9 cards from the Surrealist Tarot deck. So this will give us a sense of the story of this situation. So this is the Surrealist Tarot deck. This is my most recent purchase in my collection of tarot decks, and this is my first cycle that I've been using it for, and it's been going well so far. Still learning to read from it, but it's definitely changing up the vibes of the messages that are coming through. So let's see what it can tell us today. So let's get one more good shuffle, and then we will see what is going on in your world, Aries. Trying to get control over something. Alright. That feels good. So let's see what we got today. Cards don't want to stay still here. Okay, so the theme of this reading is the Chariot. So I think you're on the move. You are ready to face whatever changes are occurring. So something has finally, some new thing has occurred in your life that has made it clear that whatever situation you are currently in has to change. You are having to face whatever new opportunities or new situations have arisen in your life. And again, I feel like you're trying to get some grip on the chaos of whatever this new change is. So you're seeking foundation, you're seeking a sense of control and assertiveness, and with the Chariot here being the theme of this reading, I feel like this is you moving head first into the situation, and the Chariot usually has some sense of needing to sort of pull together extremes that might be pulling you apart. So as you're moving through this judgment into this new era of whatever it is that's happening in your life, the different parts of who you are going to pull you in different directions, and part of what you need to do as the Emperor is to get control over those two things, or however many things they are, but get some control over them and pull them together so that you can really find that foundation and become stable in your strength as all of this flux is occurring around you. So this is really about you staying strong and focused on you and what you need to do throughout all of this chaos that may be unfolding. So let's see what is happening here. So we start with the 9 of Cups, which is the card of joy. So I'm thinking that perhaps prior to whatever this judgment is, there was probably a situation or a period of, everything is just working out perfectly. Everything feels like it's just right. But with the 9 of Cups, the joy that you feel with that is fairly often an isolated joy. You might be feeling like you're in a happy place, but it might feel a little bit like you're in a bit of a bubble. So you're not able to really share all of that positive energy with other people, and that's only sustainable for so long. So perhaps that's what is occurring here. Perhaps the Chariot is representing a need to not just find what works for you, but realizing that there's a certain amount of expansion that must occur when you find this happiness. Otherwise, it's going to start to get kind of stale. So perhaps that's a sense of what it is that has kicked off whatever this upheaval is that is occurring in your life. So let's see if we can get a little bit more context. Okay, here we have the 8 of Pentacles and the Page of Cups. So with the 8 of Pentacles, that's really working on the details of a situation. So perhaps what has brought you the joy that you have in this situation is being able to put yourself into projects. Perhaps you're in a situation where the joy that you find is from being perhaps left alone to really work through the minor technical details of whatever it is you like to do with your time, whether this is a pastime or work, whatever it is that brings you joy as you are working on it. I think that your joy comes from the ability to really get what's the word? Really immersing yourself in the technical craft of whatever it is that you like to work on. And I think this is what inspires you. This is what brings you the joy that you need. But with the Page of Cups popping in, I almost sense that this after a while doesn't feel like it's quite enough. And so the Page of Cups is this sort of bubbling up inside of you of realizing, okay, I'm at a 9, things are really good, but I need more. I need to reach that full complete 10, and there's something that's just missing. There's something that's not quite emotionally resonating with you as it needs to for you to really feel the satisfaction that you know that you need to obtain. And so the page, I feel, is that feeling that sense inside of you and getting that sense that although this is good, it's not quite enough. And so perhaps actually maybe that's even also what the Eight of Pentacles represents. Maybe it's not just that your joy comes from really working on these details. Perhaps through going through the details of whatever it is that makes you happy, this is what allows you to uncover that there is a piece that's missing. And so now when you tap into the Page of Cups energy, you're trying to figure out what it is that needs to be done in order to reach that final cup. And that's then maybe the Eight of Pentacles detail-oriented work that's occurring, is you reflecting on what it is that makes you happy and realizing that there's just not quite enough of what you need in order for this to really feel the full strength of what it could be. So we see a Six of Swords and a Five of Pentacles. So yeah, so I think as you're looking at the process of whatever it is that brings you joy and uncovering that there is a piece missing, as you're trying to tap into that Page of Cups energy, this is going to spark off a sense of needing to move forward with this situation, needing to really evaluate where we need to go with this in order for it to bring us the joy that we need to feel complete. The Six of Swords is usually indicative of some kind of journey that is the result of some sort of insight. So I think perhaps the realization that the Nine of Cups is not going to be enough for you, that you know that there's still some final stage in finding the joy that you need, that's what the Six of Cups is once you realize that something is missing, we now have to move forward and sort of look at things in a different perspective. We're going to take with us the things that we have learned along the way, but we know that we need to continue progressing forward in order to really complete this process. And perhaps also the difficulty of moving forward in this situation is a bit of a concern over these foundational finances, or whatever the resources that the Four of Coins is leading you to really want to sort of double down upon and get control of. So perhaps as you're realizing that there's something missing, perhaps there's some tool or something that you need to be able to complete whatever this is that brings you joy. Perhaps if you're working on some project, perhaps there's equipment that you need and you're not sure that you're able to fund the obtaining of that. So perhaps this is going to put you in a situation where the thing that you know you need to move towards, the thing you need to take this journey of reaching in order to find this 10th cup, perhaps it is something that feels like it's not within your grasp, and that perhaps leaves you feeling a little bit frustrated, that you're not sure, how am I going to be able to accomplish what I need to accomplish if I don't have the resources that I need to do this? And if this is something perhaps that you're realizing that you're needing to reach out towards, maybe it's not something that you need as an object, perhaps it's something you need to move towards, you realize that there are going to be some sort of sacrifices or difficulties that are going to have to be overcome in order to do this, to move towards this thing, or to obtain whatever this is, to accomplish whatever it is you need to accomplish to find that final 10th cup. So, and that's where you're really going to need that Emperor energy. If things are going to be difficult, you need to be able to have the strength and the power to forge forward so that you can deal with these difficulties in the most, commanding and constructive way possible. And so in the middle of all of this is the Knight of Cups. So we see a Page of Cups and now we have a Knight of Cups. We're sort of working our way up the Suit of Cups. Perhaps this then is, once you realize that there's this piece inside you that's missing, the Knight of Cups is the task of actually reaching out towards it. So now I am starting to get the sense that the Knight of Cups joy that you're feeling, as I said, it's like an isolation. That's sort of the final thing that's missing. Perhaps you found what brings you joy, but you don't have a situation or a community with which to share that joy, and that's maybe leaving you feeling isolated. And so again, you're taking the time to sort of go through the details of figuring out how do I level up the things that are making me happy. So you're feeling that call, that message that says we need to do more here with the Page of Cups. And when we get to the Knight of Cups, that's you now taking the actual step forward, despite the fact that there may be difficulties along the way, to be able to put out into the world the joy that it is that you are feeling at an individual level. So you, I think, are now going to start to embody the energy of the Knight of Cups and move forward with the Nine of Cups joy that you have, so that you can reach out to others. And I think through that connection, that's what's going to allow you to find that 10th cup. It's that connection that you're missing is the thing that's not fitting in here. And that's scary. You may be in a happy place and it might feel a little bit like, oh, if I try to connect or share this with other people, perhaps it might tarnish it. And maybe that's what the Five of Pentacles energy is the feeling of difficulty in reaching out to other people, or perhaps even the fear of it taking away from the joy that you currently have. Maybe there's the fear that if I share, I won't have it reciprocated, and that might leave me feeling a little bit less full. And we don't want to move from a 9 of Cups to an 8 of Cups. We want to move to a 10 of Cups. So we're taking the energy of the Emperor, though, and we're moving forward, and we're trying to embody the energy of a knight, of really going out in the world and, making this offer to the world that says, hey, this is who I am, or this is what I do, this is the joy I feel, and trying to share that and connect that with other people. So, but again, there's some amount of foundation. I think perhaps the foundation may not even just be in the physical. It could be a sense of feeling like you might lose a little bit of yourself if you give too much away as you reach out to other people. So as you're taking this step into the world and trying to connect emotionally with bigger and better things, there's this fear that I might lose, or you might lose, this foundational idea of who you are and what you are enjoying. And you don't want to lose that. You want it to grow by sharing it, not be diminished. So let's see what else we have here. We have a High Priestess and the Moon. Okay. Yeah, so trust yourself. Trust the little voice that tells you what feels right and what doesn't feel right. Because yes, as you try to, perhaps this is you trying to be more vulnerable. And so you're in this energy of the Emperor, and you realize that in order to get from a 9 of Cups to a 10 of Cups full emotional completion, then what you need to be able to do is to, be vulnerable. You need to share. And the Emperor may not be really in that mode of wanting to connect in that level. So perhaps if you go too headstrong into this situation and try to be too guarded, it may be a sort of lost cause in the first place to be able to try and make this new connection. So we want to feel like the Knight of Cups, not just the Emperor. We need to find that balance here. And that can be a difficult road to travel. That's why I think the Moon is here. This is representative of the difficulty of navigating that space between being assertive and protected and really knowing what we want and what we need versus being receptive to other people and what they need. And so trying to strike that right balance, I think, is going to be something that's perhaps difficult for you. And that's sort of the process of forging into the unknown as we carry this chariot forward. We want to connect emotionally with other people. We know what the goal is, but it's a little bit harder in practice than it may seem on surface. And so with the Eight of Pentacles here, you're willing to put in that work, but it's not always clear how that work needs to be, how you need to utilize your energy in order to really put the time in to make that work effective. So we're forging into the unknown, and what I think we really need in order to do this is not just working through the details, not just checking off all the boxes and saying, okay, I did it this way, I did this, I did this, I did this. there's a certain aspect to this situation that requires you to be more intuitive and just sort of just listening, maybe not even just to the voice that guides you, but perhaps trying to be receptive to the motives and needs of other people. You know, if you're really trying to connect with others and you're trying to share your energy with theirs and create a sort of a positive, what's the word I'm looking for? Positive sort of feedback loop between giving and receiving with others. You need to listen to what feels right to you, but you also need to listen to the sort of energy that other people are giving off, and that'll give you the empathy that you need that's not natural for the Emperor. The Emperor really needs to rely on the quiet sensitivity of the High Priestess to be able to make good choices. He is perhaps going to be a little too rational, and that's not going to help you get through this unknown balancing act that you need to achieve in order to be both receptive and assertive. Okay, so hopefully that makes some sense. Kind of a all over the place reading here, but hopefully this is helpful so far. Let's see how this concludes. Strength. Yes. So with the Strength card, this is a card that usually you see some form of a melding together of a woman and a lion. Here we have this woman and this more sort of like bestial looking kind of character down here. And I think this is still, again, representative of you needing to channel the power and aggression of the Emperor with the sensitivity of the High Priestess and and being receptive to those quiet insights that she gives us as you move through the unknown on this chariot. So if you really want to find that final missing piece to move from that 9 of Cups to the 10 of Cups to get that full positive enjoyment, it's going to come from filling that final cup. The call to do so comes from the Page of Cups. The action to go into the world and do so is you embodying the Knight of Cups. And again, I think this needs to be something where you are giving of yourself and sharing the joy that you have with others, and that's going to be reciprocated if done properly. It won't be easy. It's going to take a little bit of reevaluating, and it's going to take you really getting through some of the things that are not natural for you, because again, I feel like there's this fear of giving up too much of yourself and losing your foundation, but that's the change that you need to go through if you're really going to move forward with finding that full joy that you're really looking to find here. So hopefully that makes some sense. Again, kind of a little bit all over the place here with this reading, but hopefully it's helpful, and at least some parts of this message are resonating with you. So now let's see what is going to come from the Shadow deck. We'll pull one card to see what is in your subconscious. Okay, so let's pull one card from here to close out this reading. Okay, so let's shuffle this. Again, so as your life is changing, as you are trying to expand and grow and move towards the joy that you know that you deserve and that you know you're working towards, be receptive. Listen to other people, listen to yourself, put in the work, but don't be overly logical. Listen to your intuition and be receptive to other people's feelings and needs as well. And you're going to find that if you really want to embody your strength, if you really want to be the emperor of your world, it's going to come not just from demanding that people give you things or demanding that you find whatever it is you're looking for. It's going to come from the give and take and a certain level of sensitivity that I'm not seeing a ton of here. So that's why I think that's really what's missing and needs to be balanced as we're moving the chariot forward. So don't lose sight of who you are and what makes you what you are and the stability you need to be that emperor, but don't be too overly concerned with that foundation. Sometimes giving is a form of receiving. You know, you receive more than what you give is the hope in that dynamic. So what is in your subconscious is the Empress. Yes, so you need to embrace not just the power of the Emperor, but the nurturing, loving energy of the Empress. And that's in you. It's in your subconscious. You've got that power inside of you. You just need to tap into it. And I think that's what the High Priestess is trying to help you do, is to get back in touch with that other side of who you are. You're Aries. You've got the energy and power and assertiveness of the Emperor, but that's not all of who you are. There is a sensitivity that needs to be tapped into in order to expand the joy that you feel and to share it with other people. And that's necessary in order to find that connection. And without that connection to other people, your joy is still always just going to be a little bit of a bubble that you're living in. So what you don't see coming is the King of Wands. So interesting. Perhaps as you expand your world, maybe some other person is going to come into your life. Maybe someone that inspires you, someone with a lot of creativity, or perhaps that's what you will become, is the King of Wands. Perhaps you will upgrade from just being the Emperor to really being the this almost feels like a spiritual level of Emperor, where here he is just in command of the physical world and the things that are around him. But with the King of Wands, there's a certain amount of tapping into the creative power of the whole universe. And maybe that's the expansion that will occur once you take the joy that you have and the foundation that you're currently living in, and you share that and connect that with other people. That's going to help you come into your real true potential that's even bigger than what the Emperor can provide. And that's what will allow you to be the King of Wands and be able to command not just your physical wealth and your resources, but be able to channel a certain sort of almost magical feeling of creativity that you can then share with other people. And that's the strength that you really want to tap into. And then with this Empress energy, you can take all of that strength and it'll allow you to create newer, bigger, better things in your reality. So I hope this was helpful. Again, kind of an all over the place reading at times, but hopefully, again, some of this resonates with you. But yeah, as always, please like and subscribe if you have not already. If you know anyone that would enjoy these videos, please share them. And if you have anything you want to discuss, any feedback or comments, please leave them below in the comment section. And that is all I have for you today, Aries. So I hope you have a great rest of your day.